Okay, go ahead.
All right,
already.
so like as I was saying,
so much for
a
my
lot
idea.
of people right now have been they're talking about the Eldar Codex and they're saying, hey, it's a good codex, but there's just these little teeny things that could have made it better, could have made it more fluffy, whatever. And one of the biggest things that people are crying and just moaning about is the fact that shuriken catapults, the Eldar Guardians, the Guardian Defenders have, is only 12 inches still.
Yeah.
They're
So
acting
what?
like it's just awful.
Yeah.
Like it's just the most terrible thing in the world. Okay, sorry, phone interruption. So they're bemoaning the fact that they only have 12-inch range, and the comparison that the vast majority of them make is that a Space Marine with a bolter can move and shoot 24 inches now. And so, woe betide the poor Guardians, they're going to just get destroyed by bolter fire. And I'm here to say that's not the case.
Yeah.
And the reason I believe that's not the case is, let's math it out. A unit of tactical Marines with a regular weapon, it's 170 points for 10 guys. That's without any kind of upgrade. You can give them a free flamer and a free missile launcher if you want. Add nothing to the sergeant, 170 points. For 180 points, you can bring 20 Guardians. That's twice as many Guardians as Space Marines.
Right.
180 points, okay? Then you can say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go big. I'm gonna add myself a couple of star cannons, which are 36-inch range, strength 6, AP2 weapons.
Right. Two shots.
2 shots. These are platforms that you can bring with them. And guess what? They get to move and shoot. They get to move and shoot the platforms.
Yeah.
They can move and shoot the platforms. The Space Marines will never be out of range of the platforms. So that's 4 shots per turn at this unit of Space Marines, who cannot really answer in kind. I mean, you can give them a plasma gun, but that's only 2 shots. It's 2 shots coming back. Not that they need it, all right? People are already going to say, oh, well, Guardian's a toughness 3 with 5 up with a 5 up save that just gets shredded by bolter fire. You are correct, sir. But again, let me reiterate: it's twice as many Guardians.
Yep.
You're up to 220 points for a unit of 20 guys with 2-star cannons at this point. That's only 50 points more than the Space Marine unit. And if the Space Marine unit has any kind of upgraded weapons, the way that I used to run them was a melt-a-gun, which is 5 points, and a power fist for the sergeant. That's 200 points base. So only for 20 points more, you have twice as many Guardians that have two heavy platforms that can not only shoot infantry, heavy infantry down, but can also shoot vehicles and can move and do it. Whereas the Space Marine's missile launcher or heavy weapon cannot. If it moves, it has to snap fire. So we're already looking at something, a unit that's, if they get in range of the Space Marines, they're going to kill them. We know this. The biggest problem people have is they're not going to get in range. Let's disabuse that fact. If the Space Marines are at their optimal range, which is 24 inches away. Now, take in mind, the way that it works now is if you only can kill the models that you're in range of. So if you're 24 inches away with your bolters, you're not going to be in range of more than the first line of guys. So you need to be more like 23, 22, maybe 21 inches away to be effective with your fire. Let's math hammer it out. You roll 10 dice. No, you don't roll 10 dice. You, in fact, have a special weapon and a heavy weapon, and maybe even have a bolt pistol on your sergeant because you have a power axe for him instead of having a bolter. Okay? So you're down to 7 shots, which then you math out says you're going to hit. Make it 8. You're going to hit 6 times.
Okay.
Now you need 3s to wound, so you're going to wound 4 times. Now, at that point, you say, okay, 4 Guardians are going to die. I say to you, no, sir, because you are always, as an Eldar player, going to bring your 1 Warlock Seer Council you can bring.
Okay.
Their Primaris power is Concealed, which gives the unit Shrouded.
Right.
Now, they're only leadership 8, so yes, a third of the time they're going to fail. But when they don't fail, which is the other 2/3 of the time, the majority of the time, one might say, you're going to get Shrouded on that unit, which gives them a 5-up cover save. If they're in cover, they now have a 3-up cover save, which is as good as the power armor of the Space Marine. Okay? So that, even leaving that aside, and that's anything that's 25% obscuring the front models in the unit. So, here's the Space Marine unit, stand 21 inches away. Here's the Guardians, and in between them there's some other stuff, bushes or whatever, and it just happens to conceal the front 2 or 3 Guardians. It doesn't even have to conceal the whole unit, just the 2 or 3 closest Guardians. and they are going to get cover saves, unless, of course, the Space Marine player decides to focus fire the guys that are further away.
I love it how you're covering all your bases.
I am covering all my bases because people on the internet are going to
just freaking out. They're not
going to freak out. Okay, but so let's math it out. Let's even say 4 Guardians die. 4 Guardians die. Okay, what do you do? Now we have 16 Guardians. Now it's the Guardians' turn. They're going to move 6 inches.
Right.
Okay? They're going to move 6 inches. They're going to get to shoot their platforms, even if they don't get in range, which obviously they're still out of range. So math it out. 21 inches away. Guardians are move 6, so now they're 15 inches away, right? Now they can run, and they get to battle. They get to run either before or after they shoot with battle focus. So they can run before they shoot in this case. And if they don't like their roll, they're fleet. They get to re-roll that roll.
So it's almost always 5 inches.
So if they get at 21 inches away, if the Space Marines are 21 inches away, they only have to get a 3 to get within 12 inches with their weapons. If they get a 4 or 5 or 6, that just means more of them get to shoot. And once they're in range, they're Assault 2. Same ballistic skills as a Space Marine. Wounds the same as a Space Marine.
Yeah,
and if they
they're
roll
bolters.
a 6,
It's
they kill
rending.
the Space Marine.
That's
okay?
the killer.
Yeah.
So
That's the
I'm
killer.
sorry, people who have not played enough of the Eldar yet.
Yeah.
I've played against them once and watched it played maybe 4 or 5 times now. And guess what? Guardians are really good.
They are.
They are really good. You get twice as many of them for the same points with heavy weapon platforms that get to move and shoot and get to run with the rest of the unit. The battle focus is amazing. And these guys are the same ballistic skill, same weapon skill, and higher initiative than a Space Marine. And they're cheaper than a Space Marine. And guess what? Oh yeah, they can shred a Space Marine's armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes,
That's
right,
the killer.
right back at you. The Space Marine bolter can shred a regular Guardian's armor. But that doesn't matter if you put a Warlock, which you are always going to put a Warlock in the unit, because I mean you could not play with Warlocks.
It's 35 points
35
per shroud.
points. 35 points per shrouding, guaranteed.
Yeah.
And you get to roll your Guardian. You get to roll your whole Seer Council, all of their spells. You get to roll them before you detach them and put them into a different unit.
I don't think that's right.
It is right, because you roll for your psychic powers before you deploy your units, and when you deploy your unit, that's when you decide
No,
whether or
but-
not they're going to
but
go in there.
Here, let me see it.
Oh.
Uh-oh. John's telling me I'm wrong.
Yeah,
could be.
I might know something you don't.
Well,
'Cause I actually looked this up. Oh no, I need the rule book for it. You generate. Oh no, hold on. It's under Warlords. Hold on. It's you generate your Warlord powers,
yes.
and then you generate your psychic abilities.
Yes, and then you deploy.
Hold on. But that's not when they get detached. Before the battle, immediately after determining Warlord traits, any Warlock on the Council may be split off from his unit and assigned to lead a different unit from the following list. So you
Sounds like Sean's right
don't
on that one.
get to do it. You don't get to know what it is before you put it in them in the unit.
All right. Well, you don't get to. At least you don't get to do that. But
Okay.
you still drop for the
Everybody freeze.
shroud. Sean's right.
I
Sean
was
got
right. Yes, I knew
Right-
something.
It's right here, because you generate warlord traits, and then you generate psychic powers right after that.
Right. So anyway,
That's okay. So that aside, you
Still,
know,
you take the Primaris power, right?
you can take the Primaris power anywhere, and if you get lucky, you get the protect, which it works the other way too. I mean,
well, and think about the 4 units Warlocks can go in. They can go in Guardians, or excuse me, Guardians, Storm Guardians, right?
Yeah.
They can go in jet bike squads
Yep.
or in
Batteries.
batteries. So here's my question: which of those units play a defensive role where they're going to be in cover and possibly hanging back? The batteries, of
right.
course,
Well,
right?
all of them are good. All of them would be benefited by that shrouding power.
That's what I'm saying.
The bikes,
is
the
that-
bikes are amazing
Oh man, the
with that.
bikes, yeah.
Oh yeah,
bikes are
they go
incredible
to
with that.
2 up.
Yeah.
Well, if they go flat out, 2 up, 3
That's
up if they just move.
If they just move.
What?
Because it's 5 up
You-
normally.
They get jinked.
They get a jink, which is
That's
5 up
right,
cover save,
just for moving.
and then they cast the shrouding power, which increases it to a 3 or
Yes,
better. And then if they go
absolutely.
flat out, it increases the jink
Additional.
by 1. So then
Yeah.
you're 2 up.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Of course,
Yeah,
you,
we're
do
not
need
even-
you do need an 8.
We're not
so
even
it does
talking
fail
about jet bikes.
25% of the time.
Yeah, we're not even talking about jet bikes.
Right.
Jet bikes are awesome.
Oh yeah.
They're
Well,
super
by the way,
awesome.
just so you know, in my army, even though I've ordered some Dire Avengers, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be putting those guys out there. I think I'm going to go jet bikes.
Dire Avengers are not. Well, this is the other thing that people aren't considering either. The
I'm not saying Dire Avengers are bad.
Dire Avengers are fine. Dire Avengers, if anybody got kind of a nerf in this codex, it would be Dire Avengers. People are yelling Banshees right now, but whatever. I'm disagreeing with them.
Right.
The Guardians, you can put them in a Wave Serpent. If you wanted to pay for a Wave Serpent, you could do it. And then, I'm sorry, a Wave Serpent doesn't really die before they get where they want. Like, I've watched it happen. I watched it against an IG player with lots of fire. The Wave Serpent lived.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a 15-point item gear to give the Wave Serpent a +1 to their cover save. All of a sudden, they have a 3-up cover save. If it's Night Fight first round, he's going to have a 2-up cover save.
Holo Field.
Holo Field, yes. I mean, not after that. Oh, even
out.
after that. Yeah, even after that. And, and they go flat out. So they got 30 inches of range. They're going to be where they want, okay? Then they move another 6, flip around, dump their squad where they need to be.
Do you recommend vectored engines?
I do recommend vectored engines well, a lot of people think the Wave Serpent's a great battle tank, and it is a great battle tank because it sheds even if it does get through on a 2 or better, it makes the penetrating hit into a glancing hit.
Yeah, which is a power that just boggles my mind.
It's really good.
Like, here, have this, plus the shooting thing for the serpent shield.
In my opinion, they're already expensive, and so I realize that I'm going to pay 130 points to get a unit that I want where I want it to be. And after that, I don't worry about it. But I'm a Space Marine player who plays with Rhinos, and I've just realized that Rhinos are throwaways.
Yeah.
Right? And so I kind of consider the Wave Serpent the same thing. If it happens to survive,
yeah.
once it's there, then great, okay.
It's ablative armor.
Right.
It's like you put them in there so they can't shoot at them right away. They have to shoot off the vehicle first.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah, I'm all around I'm really impressed with the new Eldar.
How do you think? Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I wrote this book apparently. So anyway, no, I'm kidding.
Last
Why would I say thank you?
One of the
That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
I just remembered one other thing I wanted to say. Banshees. People are really upset about
They're
Banshees.
wailing on the Banshees.
They're wailing on the Banshees because the Banshees basically did get a nerf. Consider a couple things. One, in my opinion, Terminators are on the outs. Why would you bring a Terminator when you can bring something cheaper that shoots better? That's the biggest problem with Terminator, because there's no reason to bring Assault Terminators anymore. It's stupid. Bringing Assault Terminators is dumb. And the reason that bringing Assault Terminators is dumb is they cannot sweep in advance. They cannot sweep in advance enemy units, and enemy units will I charge you a fat unit of something,
Right.
and I can't kill. And I'm not gonna. I'm just math says I'm not gonna kill all of them. Well, in 5th edition, same thing was true, but usually I was near your deployment zone, and you had to be at least 6 inches away, over 6 inches away, to be able to regroup in 5th edition.
Right.
Which meant that you would run away, and with my consolidate, I would usually stay within 6 inches of you and walk you off the table. Does that?
They can't consolidate now?
No.
Now the 6-inch rule's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, I
you
see.
can regroup next to them, and guess what? If you're playing against Space Marines, they're like, oh, so let me think about this. You didn't kill all of me, so I'm not off the table.
Regroup auto.
I auto regroup. I move 3 inches I get a free consolidate still when I regroup, and then I act normally. So good job, Terminators. You killed a big chunk of my unit in close combat, probably, unless I had some sort of invulnerable saves. And
They
now I'm
can't
going to shoot
finish
you.
the job.
And now I'm going to shoot you again. I'm going to shoot you again.
And now they have to deal with that
You didn't do
unit
anything
again.
to me.
They have
You
to
are
charge
more
it again.
expensive, way more expensive than me.
I think
and
somebody should auto-tune Thomas to this.
That'd be awesome.
I'm gonna shoot you again. I'm gonna shoot you again.
They're wasted points.
It's
Terminators.
gross.
Okay. What do you think about?
The point I'm trying to make about Banshees,
Yeah, go ahead.
going back to that, is Banshees will kill anything that's not a Terminator. So people are like, oh, well, they don't have AP2 weapons. Who cares? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because they'll kill anything that doesn't have AP2 armor. And this has always been true of Warhammer. You bring a unit of Banshees.
Somebody wants to get through.
Hold
on.
No, we're good. I declined the call already. So, you decline. You. What were we talking about?
Banshees.
Banshees.
You always had to have. Here's something else to shoot at so that this thing survives.
Right.
So Banshees are 16 points a model. You put them in a Serpent. You run up there and you run up with something else, and you get both of them out. And maybe they shoot the crap out of your. Maybe I gotta go. Maybe you shoot the crap.
Okay.
I got a phone call. I gotta leave. The point is, Banshees are not as bad as people think they are. It doesn't matter. They don't need an assault vehicle to be good. But there's plenty of other stuff in the codex that makes it really good. It's an amazing codex. Well worth playing.
Guardians are good. Just
Guardians,
try 'em. Just
Guardians,
try 'em.
even with a 12-inch range, are awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.